When Anker released their C800 Plus in March of 2024, last year, I think they really did some market research, probably asked the community, and really put a lot of thought into what do users want when they take their power stations camping. I think that they included the light bar because of that, the telescoping pole with flashlights, and even down to the size and portability of the unit. I think that that is really what their focus was when it comes to the C800 Plus. This is a light and portable unit. You can just toss it in the back of your car and not take up a lot of space. It's not too heavy. It's got plenty of power to power lights and phones, and even a strong enough inverter to power like a coffee machine and even some of the Keurigs and some of the larger ones as well. So when I was thinking about a power station to take with us camping this weekend, I was thinking of what I was going to use it for and what might be convenient, and I think that I settled on the C800 Plus with no question. In this video, I'm going to tell you about our camping experience with it, a little bit of the specs and the ins and outs of it. If you don't really care about that stuff and you just want to see a spec sheet, here it is. You can pause the video and check that out. If you want to skip all of that and just buy one because you think that it's also going to be good for you, you can go ahead and click the link in the description, and that will take you directly to the unit so you can purchase. Otherwise, stick around. I'm going to be going over my experience and why I think that the C800 Plus is the king of camp. To kick things off, you got 520 volt AC sockets with 1200 watt output on the inverter. You've got a car socket for any lights, or you want to add more USB-C, you can plug in an adapter there, but you got the car socket here. 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A ports right on the front. This is a 768 watt hour battery with a 300 watt solar input here. That's good for 11 to 60 volts. You also have your AC input here that you can plug it into the wall, and if you overload it, this is an overload button that you can press to reset it. One thing I will say is don't keep it too close to the fireplace because the embers will get on it and leave you kind of permanent marks, but that just gives it character and goes to show that I actually did take this camping and I'm not lying about this. The width is about 14 inches. It's about 7 inches deep and about 10 inches tall, which gives us a volume of 980. Divide that by 768 for a total of 1.27 watt hours per cubic inch. But where I think the C800 Plus specifically, that model actually shines, is the built-in flashlights that you have here. So these charge by contact points on the back and your power button here. It's got 3 modes. This is for flashlight mode. You also have your ambient light and your kind of like a lantern torch. It's also warm in color so that it attracts less bugs. I think that that was a conscious decision of Anker and I appreciate it. Those will charge right on the unit itself. The pole that the light attaches to actually extends about 3.5 feet. It can go all the way out of camera's view, but it'll extend 3.5 feet. The flashlight's attached magnetically onto this pole, and you can use it as a lamp that gets attached to the unit itself. Also, the bottom of this is just a standard, I forgot what the size is, but it's a standard camera hole here, so with an adapter you can actually screw in and even add a cold shoe or use it for on a camera tripod, for a selfie stick or whatever it is. That's a standard size hole. Now that you have a cold shoe on, you can also even slide on an adapter to hold your phone. You can tighten it up there, add another one. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and they really gave that a lot of thought using a standard hole there instead of proprietary. And that gets screwed on right here. The front of the device also has a light bar with 3 different settings. There's an on button here, or you can also control it from the app. You just press it once to turn it on, low. Press it again, turn it on to medium, and again to turn it on to high. Again with that warm white color, that way it doesn't attract a ton of bugs with the cooler hues. Once more to turn it off. I always like doing these capacity tests where I really want to know how much usable stored energy is in this power station. Because although it may be a 760 watt hour battery, how much of that can I actually get out of the unit? So we'll do this by discharging at about 20% of its capacity at around its 2 amps, 230, 240 watts from another power station. So we'll go ahead and drain it, and we'll see how long that takes and how much power was actually pulled out of the unit before it dies. So as you'll see here, out of the 768 watt hours, we have an actual usable capacity of 674 watt hours. Took about 3 hours to drain, and that's about 88% efficiency, which is pretty good for these power stations. Anything above 90 is excellent, but higher 80s to low 90s is considered pretty good. That's a loss of about 94 watts or 31 watt hours every hour. So first we'll do an AC inverter standby test by turning the unit on, turning the AC inverter on, and then have nothing plugged into it to see how much power the inverter uses over a 12-hour period. So as you can see here, we used 14% of the battery. It started at 11 p.m. and finished at 11 a.m. It's 768 watt hours total, and we lost 14%, which is good for about 107 watt hours in a 12-hour period with the AC standby test. We started off camp with inflating everybody's air mattresses. I use a self-inflating mattress with a pump sack, but other people had inflatable mattresses. There was 4 air mattresses that it fully inflated and didn't even put a dent in it. Right around 95 watts or so is what it was using per mattress. Here's our sleep setup with 3 kids, the wife and I. If you haven't guessed by the video, I do like the Nemo brand. If you haven't heard of Nemo, you should check them out. But here's our sleep setup. And this is our food prep table with the ambient lights on the front that lights up pretty much everything in front of the table. And then also we have the pole extended the 3 feet on top of the 10 inches that the power station is, and then on top of the table, so there's plenty of height, and that worked as an area light. And it also already started charging a phone. So it started getting really late, really dark, and we wanted to light up the entire campsite, so I brought along this EcoFlow, I called it EcoZuka, which is a giant area light. That worked great, except it was attracting a lot of bugs, so we had to move it a little bit backward and aim the lights toward the camp area for indirect light. And after all the setup and everything was said and done, who doesn't enjoy having a cold beverage by the campfire? This is really what camping is all about. And as you can see here, we've got everybody's phones and watches, and I've still got that large area light, everything plugged in. I have the ambient light running, and even after all that, the battery's still at 80%. My daughter took the liberty of grabbing one of the flashlights and went to go look for bugs. She thought that was super cool that she always knew where a flashlight was because it was always there and always charged right on the power station. The following morning, everyone wanted coffee, so we plugged the coffee maker in. It was using about 874, 880 or so watts per hour, but the power station handled that with no problem. By the end of the second night, after charging everyone's phones again and finishing the coffee and plugging in the area light and all that kind of stuff, we're left with a finally pretty much depleted battery. That was by the end of the second night, which was time to pack up and go home. So I plugged it into one of the alternator chargers and charged it on the way home so that it was charged by the time we got back. So that's why I think that the Anker C800 Plus is the king of camp. I think that it has enough power and capacity to last a whole weekend camping, and it's got all the features like flashlights and area lights to get you by for a whole weekend. If you liked this video and want to learn more about how I recharged it on the way home using my car's extra energy, check out this video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.